the human part out of the way and focus only on the God part. But if I want you to notice, go over to 1 John chapter 4. What was the first heresy, purely Christian heresy? There was the legalism, because Christianity was coming out of Judaism. So there was legalism, but that wasn't specifically a Christian heresy. It was a Jewish heresy that the church inherited. Does that make sense? What was the first Christian heresy?
Jesus didn't come in the flesh.
Do anybody know the name of it?
Gnosticism.
Gnosticism. Spelled with a G. Silent G. Like gnome. What was Gnosticism? Gnosticism believed, and this is, somebody says, well, why do I have to learn this? Because that is returning in our day. We are seeing a rise in Gnosticism in our day as one of the heresies that's come back.
Ah, there you are.
Hey, Paul. What did you have to do?
I wasn't showing on my iPad either. I just had to turn the camera off and turn it back on.
Oh, okay.
So, hey, you need to switch the circle.
Unplug it. That'll fix it. Gnosticism, first of all, what's the word mean? What does Gnosticism or Gnostic mean? Well, we know what an agnostic is. What is an agnostic?
Agnostic meaning
Not
like
believing.
A means no.
A means no.
So no belief. No believing in God.
No, it's not believing, no knowledge of God.
No.
I don't know whether there's a God or not. That's what an agnostic
What
is.
did I miss in
agnostic.
1 John 4? You didn't give me the verse.
First John, we're going to get there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So they said, what would Gnostic be? If agnostic,
Knowledge of God.
it's knowledge. The Gnostics believed that knowledge brought salvation. Where do we see that today? There's a group that claims to be Christian where we see that today.
not Christian Science.
Not necessarily, although they border on it. It's not a church, but it's a group that claim to be Christian.
Is it the Seventh-day Adventists?
The Masons.
Oh, the Masons. Oh, that's right. They have that secret knowledge.
What do they believe?
Oh, isn't it like a
How do you progress as a Mason till you get to the 32nd level?
You have to recite, you have to.
You have to memorize secret knowledge. And what allows you to grow in your spiritual life? Knowing this secret knowledge. And if you know this secret knowledge, then you're in. If you don't, you're out.
Where did they get that from?
Gnosticism.
But is it a book? A Mason has a book?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do they?
Well, but you now it's not a book you can buy. You have to attain a certain level, and then you're given this, and then you learn it, and then you attain more levels, and you learn, and you have to earn these things, and you cannot share it with anyone outside an appropriate Mason. So if I'm a 32nd level Mason and you're a 4th level Mason and you want the book for 32nd, no, you can't see that. You have to progress all the way to the top before you can get that.
A lot of influential, my father said years ago it was more important, but a lot of influential people, they were Masons, and they would hire other Masons and all that.
There are a lot of influence.
It's not, my father said it's not, he told me anyway, he said it's not as valuable as it used to be.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And there were other competitors, the Odd Fellows Lodge, and there were other things. And it was part of popular culture. We were talking about the Flintstones. What was the Flintstones?
Loyal Order of Water Buffalo.
Yeah, the Loyal Order, remember, and.
I know those kind of
Yeah, the
things.
water buffalo, yeah.
And,
They would have
and
the
the
hat and they would be
honeymooners,
so
yep,
noisy.
and the honeymooners,
The raccoons.
the raccoons, so this is something that has permeated the culture, this idea of secret knowledge saving you. But Gnosticism was based on Greek philosophy. And what did the Greeks believe? If you know things, you're saved. If you don't, you're not. Here's the thing that they believed about Jesus, though. The Gnostics believed that the spirit was good and the flesh was
Evil.
evil. So, spirit good, flesh evil.
So he was fully God, but not fully man.
So, not just I can sin in the flesh itself is evil. Not because of anything I do, simply being made of flesh is evil. So therefore, Jesus could not have been man. He was a divine being. He looked like he had flesh, but it was all an illusion. He only pretended to have flesh. So therefore, he couldn't have done what?
Died.
He couldn't have died. Why?
Not flesh. Not
You
human.
need flesh to die. So, in many of those, and how does this impact America? It's not as big as it was 20 years ago, but there are people who still buy it. What was the phenomenal book 20 years ago? Tom Hanks bought it, and Tom Hanks...
Dianetics.
Code.
Dianetics.
Da Vinci Code.
The Da Vinci Code. And what did the Da Vinci Code teach?
Gnosticism.
Gnosticism. That Jesus didn't die on the cross. Who died on the cross?
Judas.
Judas.
Oh my goodness.
He was the one faithful disciple who would die in Jesus' place.
He was the only unfaithful disciple.
And what did Jesus do? He went on and he had children with
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene, and those children are still with us today, and there are people who have this divine spark because it was passed on from Mary Magdalene's children.
It's good you never heard of it.
Yeah.
How's he going to have children with her if he's not flesh?
Oh, there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
See?
Good point.
Same way he was born, his
All the holes.
illusionary children.
Poke
It
all
gets-
the holes in the theory.
Yeah. And all this was supposedly based on Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, which he claims was absolutely accurate because it was passed down. How was it passed down? That Da Vinci knew to draw it this way?
They were sitting at the table.
Well, because he was part of the Gnostic heritage, and this secret knowledge had passed down through all of these people to Da Vinci's time and on to our time through the Masons.
This was a fictional book. They're not teaching this as doctrine type thing. It's not a
But-
religion. It's a fictional book.
It is, but there are people who take it as that's, because what is it based on? And you'll see, they're not as big as they used to be. 20 years ago, you saw them all the time on the History Channel. Lost
Scrolls.
books
Of the Bible.
of the Bible.
Scrolls of the Bible.
And what are they talking about with that?
Gnostics.
All these
Then-
extra writings.
The
Darn.
Gnostics, we know about the Old Testament Apocrypha, Maccabees and all those others. There was a New Testament Apocrypha. There were books that were written. When does the Bible close?
Revelation.
Just about around 100 AD.
Oh, you mean the time?
A little sooner.
95 AD.
95 AD with the writing of Revelation. Revelation is written 95 or 96 AD. And that closes the canon. But these Gnostics weren't satisfied with the Bible because it didn't teach what they wanted taught. So they made up their own books. The Gospel of Thomas. And they took the name of apostles. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And they wrote these Gnostic Gospels. And Dan Brown and all these other people that try to use these to they'll go to ignorant Christians and they'll go, do you know that they kept books out of the Bible? Oh, no, they didn't. Sure they did. Here it is, right here. Whoa, I was lied to in Sunday school. And there are people who know just enough because they went to like 4th grade Sunday school to have some veneration for the things of God, but they're so ignorant that they fall into these things. And the Gnostic Gospels present this Jesus as this spirit being who was not fully human. That was already forming when John wrote his things. So if you look at 1 John 4,
4:1. Do not believe every spirit.
notice what it says in verse 2.
Oh, right.
And when I first became a Christian, I hated this verse. What's verse 2 say?
This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God.
Verse 3.
But every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming, and even now is already in the world.
So what was the test in 100 AD-ish time frame for proper theology? What was one of the tests?
Jesus has come in the flesh.
That Jesus has come in the flesh. Now, today, most of the attack is on the other side. It's that Jesus, sure, he came in the flesh, but he wasn't God. He was just a man coming in the flesh. But in those days, they had the opposite heresy. And you see some of that among fundamentalists when you say things like, well, Jesus couldn't have ever been tempted, or Jesus knew everything. No, he was fully human. And he was fully God. And we need to hold on to that contradiction. People in seminary used to hate when I use that term. They say, it's not a contradiction. You can't contradict. Yeah, it does. Because it supersedes our human logic.
Mike, you're gonna learn this again tomorrow.
I know. I was just thinking that. I said, next year, he's going to be teaching the people tomorrow night in the
Tell us
class.
tomorrow.
Why did you hate this verse?
Because I wanted to say every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ is God has come from God. Because who was I fighting at that point?
Yourself?
No.
Liberals.
Yeah, I was fighting the liberal church and the disciples of liberal pastors in the high school and liberal professors in the college who would acknowledge that Jesus was a man,
But not God.
but would deny his divinity.
I think the one part that boggles my mind is that Jesus doesn't know when he's coming back. Or some
Jesus what?
variation of that.
Okay, let's stop.
Wait, say it again?
Does
He knows
Jesus know?
Probably now.
Yes.
Yes.
What's that verse that says,
He
That's
didn't
when he
know
was
on
in
the
the
earth.
flesh, he didn't know.
Aha!
Now
So
he's
we have to
glorified.
understand
what's
when
that verse? I don't know.
Matthew 24:36.
How do you do that?
Because I preached it this
Because
morning.
once you die, then you know everything, right?
So you have to see that
Oh,
Jesus always existed where?
Eternity past.
In eternity.
Right.
He always existed in eternity. But when he put on flesh, what did he do?
He existed in time.
He stepped out of eternity into time. He became a time-bound being. How can God do that? I don't know. Nobody else knows. But God did it. So for that period of time, those 30-odd years, Jesus existed as God and man, fully human, fully God. And as a result, and that's where we come back to those verses in Philippians that are so crucial.
He did give up some authority and
Yeah,
even didn't you
that's
say to me,
Philippians
you
2.
said about his, whenever he did a miracle, he always did it through the Father, right?
Did it through the Holy Spirit.
But I mean, not through himself.
Yeah, right.
Verses Philippians 2, 6, and 7. And we see here this tension between the two halves, the two parts, the two whatever natures of Jesus. What level is this mystery on? Just before we.
Don't you say it's like an indescribable mystery?
But what level? What is the level that this mystery is
Is it
on?
like the Trinity?
Yeah, this is the same level mystery as the Trinity. You cannot. How can God be three and yet one?
It's like an egg.
And
Or
that
water.
defies, yeah,
Or
that defies our understanding of reality. It supersedes our understanding of reality. And how can Jesus be fully God? Same level mystery. It is simply beyond our, not just ability to comprehend, but beyond our construct of logic to explain. It simply is unexplainable. But notice what it says. Verse 6 talks about what?
His
Being
fully
in the
God.
kingdom of God.
That's his fully God. Though he was in nature God. Period. He was God.
He made himself nothing.
I want to read that in the NASB. Verse 6. This is the NASB. If you want an accurate word-for-word translation from Greek into English, probably the most accurate word-for-word translation of both Old and New Testament is the NASB.
Yeah, I have one. It's not here today.
Yeah, everyone probably should have one, because if you ever are reading in some other, whether it's King James, New King James, NIV, any of those, and you come across a word and you go, I wonder if that word's really in the Greek, get out your NASB, read it in the NSB, and you're going to get as close as you can without knowing Greek. So everybody should have at least a cheap NASB.
It's a word for word,
Yeah.
not thought for thought.
Right. They're all a continuum. It is as far to the word for word as you can get among English, whereas the whereas the NIV is very much toward the thought for thought. The only one that's probably more so is the Living Bible, which is
The
new.
NLC.
Which is the New
Yeah.
Living Bible.
I have both of them and I keep them side by side, so when I read it, if it's a concept I don't understand, I can
Yeah.
go back and forth.
Here's what it says in the NASB. Being found in 6. Who, although he existed in the form of God, did not regard equality with God a thing to be grasped. Verse 7. But emptied himself, taking the form of a bondservant, and being made in the likeness of men. Being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on the cross. So,
I have the 1995 version and the 1924 version. Which one?
of which one?
NASB. Which one should I take?
Either one.
Are they both, they don't change?
I haven't seen the newest one. The older one I know.
1920.
1920.
2020.
Use that.
I wouldn't use the 2020, I'd
Okay.
use, because they're all becoming infected with wokeism. So, that idea, he was in very nature God, he took upon himself the very nature of a servant, of a human being.
What did you read? Like I have, but you read it and I thought it was even, I have, but made himself of no reputation. You said something about kind of flushed everything out.
But he emptied himself, taking the form
Emptied
of a
himself.
bond servant and being made in the likeness of men.
So emptied himself, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking that is like God has the glory. He didn't have that glory
So-
that you could see.
Right. So what did he empty himself of? We have to be clear about this.
Oh, the glory of God?
He emptied himself of his glory. If you'd have walked up to Jesus, would you have seen his divine nature?
No.
In fact, Isaiah says what about him?
That he was not, so it was not appealing?
Not
Or-
Yeah,
Not comely.
he was nothing that people would say, wow, look at him.
Just an
Like he
average
wasn't
looking guy.
glowing or anything, you know?
There was nothing about him, so I wouldn't even say average, I'd say homely, ugly.
So he was like the opposite of Saul would have been. Saul
Yeah.
was the head and shoulders, the
Or
good-looking
David.
guy. Yeah.
Rudy countenance.
Ruddy.
And- yeah. So he emptied himself of his glory. What else?
He took himself,
Form
taking
of a
himself
servant.
as a bond
Right.
servant.
But what else did he empty himself of?
His divine power.
His divine power. He did not have his divine power
But when he was man, when he was on.
during that time
That
when he
human
stepped
divine.
into time. He did not have his divine power.
Because he had to go to God.
He could have accessed it,
Through God, through the Holy Spirit.
but
He wouldn't have been fully man.
had he done that, his mission would have been over.
Yeah.
That's the temptation in Matthew 4. Turn these rocks into bread. And that always confused me because I'm going, why is that a temptation? If he wanted bread, he could just, no, it was, use your divine power.
That's great, because Satan knew it would disqualify him from
Yep.
everything else.
Yeah,
Not that he wanted to make, just, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
But that's a picture for us too, because if Jesus needed to spend time with the Father, how much more do we need
Oh,
to spend
yeah.
time with the
Hey,
Father?
amen.
so he emptied himself of that divine power. Could he have taken it back up? Yes, but that would have negated his mission. So as long as he was to remain faithful, he had to put that on the shelf. It's gone.
Wow.
What else? At least one more thing.
His reputation.
Think about what he had surrendered to become human.
He submitted himself to like death.
So what else did he give up? He gave up his divine power.
Life.
Omnipresence.
He gave up his, where was Jesus for those years?
Israel. Jerusalem.
One place at one time.
Oh yeah, omnipresent.
Was he everywhere in the universe
No.
and beyond the universe?
No.
No. He limited himself to one speck of existence. The rest of the universe was empty of the Son's presence. What else?
Well, he now had needs.
He emptied himself of his divine knowledge. So did Jesus know everything? Could Jesus have told you how many flakes of dust there were in the rings of Saturn?
No.
No.
Why does this say that he could He knew what their thoughts were, the Pharisees.
How did he do that?
God empowered him.
By his connection with the Father. Everything he's doing, it's through his connection with the Father. He's drawing on the Father's strength. He's not using his divine power. Did the prophets often know what people were thinking, even people far away?
No.
Yes, they did.
Sure they did,
Because God revealed it.
because God revealed it.
Well, you're saying that if I was Jesus here in this room, God the Father, if I didn't have to, I didn't know everybody's thoughts, but he allowed me to know your thoughts, is
Right,
what you're saying.
right.
Okay, so whatever he dictated from there, I knew, Jesus knew,
Yep.
not me.
But again, it wasn't his knowledge, it was the Father's knowledge. And
So when
that's,
he knew about Judas, that was also from the Father too?
but it was also from what?
Predestined to know that.
Well, but how did he know about Judas?
It was a plan in place. Like that was already in place, right?
How do we know it was in place? Simple answer.
Prophecy.
He knew the prophecies.
Oh.
He knew the prophecies.
So what did the prophecy say about Judas?
All those things about the one who dips who has eaten my bread will turn his heel against me, and all of those things about, that the one will deny him. And
Could you say maybe he didn't know, like the Father didn't let him know, like his apostles are around him, and not until a certain point did he let him know? So he didn't know
Very
which one
well.
was gonna.
So when Peter says in
Which one of us?
in John 6 earlier, we all believe. What does Jesus say?
No.
Not all of you, one of you.
I'm not-
At that point, did he know that was Judas?
Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Wow. Never thought of that.
Certainly by the time of the Last Supper, he knows.
Because he tells them, go do it quickly.
Go do what you're going to do. But again, that was not because Jesus knows everything. That was because that was divinely revealed truth.
Specific.
Yeah.
And as you said, he did know he was subordinate to the Father
Yep.
at that point, where even though they're equal, he went and he said, I'm following you.
And that verse in Hebrews 5:8, and then Joy went on to 5:9 about being perfected. He learned obedience. Obedience wasn't his natural state. Being subordinated wasn't his natural state. Surrendering his will wasn't his natural state. He learned that. Just like you and I have to learn that. Now it's different. Why was subordination not Jesus' natural state? Was it because of sin? My natural state is not
Because he was God.
is not subordination because I want to be my own God. That's sin. Why did Jesus have to learn subordination?
He was fully man.
Because at one point he was fully God.
Because as when he was in eternity, in the Trinity, was he subjected?
No, he had power.
They're in utter agreement. There is no subjection in eternity. It is total agreement between the Trinity. It's not the Father telling the Son. It's all three of them in agreement, working together.
I have a question for you. Could we say that Jesus, and remember my term on this, before he was crucified and was resurrected, he wasn't perfect in the sense, perfect meaning mature.
And in Hebrews 5:9, part of that is the maturing of his relationship as the God-man to the Father.
Mm-hmm. But he wasn't matured until after, and that's when he had full.
So for that period of time, Jesus functions under those limitations. Before that period of time, Did Jesus have those limitations?
No.
No. After the resurrection, does Jesus have those limitations?
Only one, that he's in one place.
No.
No.
What does it say? What does it say about Revelation? Is it 14? Yeah, 14. Verse 10, what does that say? What's Revelation 14:10?
They too will drink the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. They will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb.
So where is Jesus throughout eternity?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, where does it say here?
In hell.
No.
He's in hell with the damned. Where is he? But where does Revelation 4 tell us he is? He's in heaven.
I don't understand, because God is not a spirit. God is spirit, right? And the Father is everywhere. In heaven, I'm thinking we
And
won't
so-
see the
so
Father
is Jesus.
except through Jesus, right? But we won't see a
Where is
physical
the Father? Where is the Father pictured? And I don't know what this means, but the Bible says it over and over
You've
again.
seen me, you've seen the Father.
On the
But
throne's
where
picture,
where
the
is
throne
God?
On
Where-
the throne,
On the throne in heaven.
okay?
Is that the only place he is?
No.
I think every human imagining falls short. So this is not a perfect picture. You can't get a perfect picture of that. But how I visualize it to try to make some sense of it is God's presence is not an absolute. There is the levels of God's presence. From the least level to the greatest level. So when it's pictured that God is on the throne, what is that saying?
That he's in one place, he's on a throne.
Not that he's in one
His
place,
full presence.
It's high.
that the highest manifestation of his presence is there.
And it's visible.
He's ruled.
If you want to experience God in the fullness of what he is, that's where it is. It's not over here, it's right there. Is he over here too?
Yes.
Where the
How
Bible
about over
is.
there? How about here? How about there? But is the fullness of his presence there? Picture it in a human way. In AD 950. I'm sorry, BC 950. 950 years before Christ. Where could you experience the absolute most of God's presence on earth?
Tabernacle. Or this,
Close, but not
It is,
Temple?
in the temple.
okay.
But in the whole temple?
no, the
Oh, no,
Holy of
the inner
Holies.
court.
In the Holy of Holies. And then if you stepped out of the Holy of Holies to the holy place, what happened?
You're a little further away.
He's still
It
there,
was a
but not
little
as-
less presence
Yeah.
than the Holy of Holies.
Not as
But still
magnified.
more than out in the courtyards. But when you went out to the courtyards, was he present there?
Oh, yeah.
But not as much as in the holy place.
Right,
Right.
But more than outside in Jerusalem.
I get you.
But if you left Jerusalem and traveled through Israel, was he still present there?
Yeah,
But again, what would happen?
a lesser degree.
Lesser degree. But now we leave Israel and go to China, or go to Mongolia, or go to Britannia. Is God present there?
Yeah.
But what?
Less.
Less so. So that principle seems to, and I'm not saying that I understand it because no one can, but seems to apply throughout the universe. Is God present everywhere?
Yes.
You're saying almost like a rheostat,
Yep.
kind of like.
At some level or another, God is everywhere. But there are places where he is especially manifested. His presence is more felt, more experienced. Where would be one of the places where God is, his presence is very experienced? It's much higher on the rheostat. Makes no sense, but it's there. Where would one of those places be?
In 950?
In hell. God is very present in hell. Why?
Keep
His
on
wrath.
control.
Because he is manifesting his wrath on those who have spurned him. So God is more present in hell, in some ways, than he is on earth. Sounds weird, but it seems to be true.
That makes sense.
But if you want to go to where God's presence is the most experienced, where do you go? Heaven. And if you want to, in heaven, go to the place where God's presence is the most experienced, you go to
The throne.
the throne, or in Isaiah's vision, Isaiah 6, where?
Is that where the angels are doing holy, holy, holy?
That's where the
And then your
angels are
king
shouting
died.
holy.
Holy, holy.
Where's that? In the true temple, that is
In Jerusalem.
the reality that Moses got the copy of to make. David laid out the materials and Solomon built. There's the real temple in heaven where Jesus took his blood. You go there, of all the places in heaven, the throne and the temple are the places where God is most present, even in heaven. And what is the goal of the angels in heaven?
Glorify him. Point people
Proximity
toward
to
him.
God.
Yeah, to get as close to that highest level of presence as you can possibly get.
That's the what of the angels?
That's the goal of the
The
angels.
goal of the angels. Okay. For the desire.
Yeah, or the desire of the angels, or the longing of the angels, to find those places where he is the most present and be there. And you see, now, again, are these things because you see little glimpses? What happens about halfway through Jesus' ministry in regards to this whole thing?
He says where God is on earth with the lowly and the meek.
Jesus takes the inner circle up onto a mountainside. And what
They
happens?
see his glory. He's glorified there.
For a moment, he transitions out of time into his eternal form, and they get to experience his eternal form. But then what happens?
He
Goes back.
He steps back into time, and here he is again.
And they were frightened of it.
So, again, one of the sad things that we have done in the conservative fundamentalist church is we have oversimplified things. And I understand why we do it. And you need to start simply. When you send a child off to kindergarten or teach them kindergarten yourself, are you expecting that they're going to get calculus?
No.
Before you can do that, you have to learn to add. And then after you've learned to add, you learn to subtract. And some
And multiplication
blessedly
division.
cantankerous children like me will do, while the teacher is teaching subtraction, will do what?
Long division.
They'll go, well, what about 7 minus 10?
We're not there yet.
And the teacher will say,
We're not there yet.
yeah, you can't do that.
Yet, but you can.
But you obviously can, but they don't want to deal with negative numbers. Then the next year, the next teacher will turn around and go, you know when they told you can't do that? Well, you can. Here's how you do it. And when they introduce multiplication and division, and once they do division, they're going to do things like what? What's 6 divided by 3? Well, 2.
Remainders.
Then they're gonna go, well, what about 7 divided by 3?
Fractions, yeah.
They don't start with fraction. There's a
Remainder.
remainder.
And then that's how you get the fraction.
And then they'll start teaching about decimals or fractions.
They teach about money and time too, don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't forget about all this other stuff.
But my point is they start at a very basic level and they build up from there. The problem in the fundamentalist church is so often they're pounding on the stuff down here that they never encourage people to move beyond that to really understanding what's going on. And what does that do? It keeps everybody at the infant level. Because what is spiritual maturity?
Moving.
What is the biblical definition of spiritual maturity?
Growth.
Isn't it able to
Reproduction.
teach others? If you understand.
Look at 1 John. And when I first read this, I was just totally and utterly, and I just, this just blew my mind, and it made me angry, and I huffed and puffed, and God doesn't know what he's talking about. Why doesn't he do it right? And then I finally humbled myself and figured out what it really means and go, oh, that's so cool.
That must be 1 John 4.
2.
4.
No, 2.
Chapter 2, you're saying?
Chapter 2.
No.
Verses 12 to 14.
Oh, I remember this.
There are 3 levels of spiritual growth here. Each one is given 2 different verses or 2 different sections about that. What is the lowest level of growth?
Children.
Children.
Sins are forgiven.
What is the 2 things that the children are, define a person as in the child stage?
They know Father and salvation.
They know salvation and they know God as their Father. What does it mean to know God as your Father?
You have an understanding. You have an understanding that he's there.
Maybe.
What he gives you and what you get from him, what.
So it is knowing God in relationship
What he does for
What he
you.
does for me. Yeah.
to me.
Right.
He's my Father. He saved me. He provides for me.
Selfish
He
perspective.
takes care of me. It's a 3-year-old's view of their parents. Why does a 3-year-old's parents exist?
For him.
Take care of me.
To take care of me. What do they do when they leave the house? I don't know. I don't care because it's not about me. So when you say, well, I've got to go out and work. Why? What does that get me? Well, we can buy you more toys. Oh, go right for it.
Do I have 5 of them?
I have an unsaved friend, he always says to me, it's all about you, Mike.
So that's the child level. How much of the church that's actually saved stays at that level in America? A huge amount.
Oh, yeah.
And the fundamentalists aren't better at that than the others because it's always just about this lowest common denominator. What's the second level?
Young men.
Young men. What defines young men?
They know the word and how to overcome evil.
They know the practical use of the word. They know how to quote the Bible. They know how to apply basic doctrine to situations. If you ask them a question, they can go to the Bible and say, well, the Bible says blah, 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 blah. And they know about
Overcome evil.
spiritual warfare. Right? We there? Give me one more minute because I want to get... What then is spiritual maturity?
The Father.
No.
Love you. Have a good day.
Yes, it's the Father, but what is it that defines it?
They
Be
knew
able
it
to
from the
teach it.
beginning.
You know him who is from the beginning. How's that different from knowing the Father? The Father was from the beginning. How's that different from being a little baby? You haven't grown at all. No, what's the difference?
You
A
know
baby,
the
the
Father,
baby
you know the
Christian
Father.
knows God in relationship to
What it can do for them.
me.
Yeah, parents.
The spiritually mature person knows God
What I can do for him.
as he is. They have progressed to the point where it's not about me, I just want to know God as he is. And the stuff we've been talking about today is God as he is. When we try to really understand who Jesus is, not what he gave. Oh, he died for my sins. Oh, he does this. Oh, he answers prayer. He does. No. Who is Jesus in and of himself? The God-man. That's moving towards spiritual maturity. That's trying to understand he who is from the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Total.
It's not just knowing God, oh, he blesses me. Oh, he does nice, blah, 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 blah. No, it's what is God like? So when we ask about what's his omnipresence like, how can we understand that? Those are questions about him who is from the beginning. Those are the questions of spiritual maturity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Total.
Thank you.
So that's why this stuff is important, but it's hard to understand. This is the stuff that's deep. Revelation isn't deep, it's complicated. This is the stuff that's deep. Because you can ponder this for a lifetime and still not understand it. You study Revelation enough and you can understand it. You get the complexity down, you can understand it. You can't understand this stuff. You can just ponder it.
Got it.
God bless.
See ya,
God
Paul.
bless. Yep, keep me in prayer. Surgery on Tuesday.
Amen.
Tuesday. All right.
Finally.